Hi, I'm Jenny, and I love a good story, especially one that has a little bit of mystery to it and intrigue, and also one that is inspiring. And years ago, I heard one from a girl personally who experienced something that was well worth writing about. So I wrote a story on it and I called it Pennies from Heaven. And I'd like to share this with you. As far as luck went, Julie was down on hers on the day of the cup of pennies. She'd been living in her car and the situation was grim to say the least. She started the engine of the 27-year-old Ford Torino and saw that the oil light had gone red. At least she had several bottles of 1040 Chevron in the trunk. Julie drove several blocks to a local gas station where there was a vacuum and air water station. She parked her car. She was in a let's take care of this car mode and intended to do the whole 9 yards, including the water and air in the tires. Julie always kept her car neat and as clean as she could. After all, it was her home. Upon opening her door, after parking the vehicle, she saw sitting next to the air-water-vac a cup of pennies. They were dirty and rusted, and they were in a medium-sized soft drink cup from McDonald's. Yahoo! Wow! Julie exclaimed, gas money. Picking the cup up, she thought to herself, there's probably $3 or $4 here, and McDonald's sounds good too. This story took place quite a few years ago when things were a lot cheaper. Knowing it would not be a cool thing to do to plop down several hundred pennies on the counter to purchase a Big Mac, let alone a couple gallons of gas, Julie drove to the house of her friend Tim, who kept paper penny rolls on hand for his business. Tim gave Julie a generous stack of the brown and red wrappers. She left a happy camper prepared for her project of penny rolling, which she knew would be somewhat extensive. Back in her car, Julie began to fill the 50-cent penny rolls. She wrapped enough pennies to put $10 worth of gas in her car. Wow, that was a surprise. Prices were a little bit different then, as I said before. Sitting the cup down on the floor of the back seat of her car, she headed for McDonald's, where she again sat in the parking lot under the golden arches rolling pennies until she had enough for a Big Mac meal consisting of fries, a Coke, and a double cheeseburger. After eating her meal, Julie glanced toward the cup on the seat next to her. It hadn't changed. It was still half full. This is when it occurred to Julie that something strange was happening, and how that was a bit amazing, and maybe even a little miracle. The task of rolling pennies was a very tedious one, and that's how it felt, but roll pennies she did. Snuggling up in her sleeping bag in the back seat of her car, Julie slept well that night. On the floor by the seat next to her, a miracle that appeared in the guise of a McDonald's paper cup half full of rusted pennies would buy Julie one more meal and a fine cup of Starbucks coffee the next day. This is a true story, and the names have been changed to protect the anonymity of the blessed recipient. So I especially like this story because it reminds me that we're being looked after yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And aren't we the lucky ones? Have a blessed day.